Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Before we dive into today's topic, I want to take a moment to center ourselves and invite some peace into this space. Let's start with a short prayer. Dear God, thank you for the gift of this day and the opportunity to connect with one another. We ask for wisdom and grace as we explore the power of words. May our hearts be open, our minds clear, and our tongues guided by love and truth. Bless this time together, and may it inspire us to use our words for good. Amen. Alright, friends, today we're talking about something incredibly powerful, something we use every single day, often without even thinking about it. Words. The topic is the power of words, and trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to see just how much influence they have over our lives, our relationships, and even the world around us. This is going to be a deep dive, so grab a snack, get comfy, and let's get into it. Words are everywhere. Right now, you're listening to mine. You've probably spoken hundreds today, maybe to a friend, a coworker, or even yourself in the mirror. But have you ever stopped to think about how much weight those words carry? I mean, think about it. Words can start wars, end relationships, build empires, or heal broken hearts. That's wild, right? I remember this one time when I was a kid, maybe 8 or 9 years old. I was at school, and I said something mean to a classmate. I don't even remember what it was, just some offhand comment, but I'll never forget the look on her face. She didn't say anything back, but her eyes got all teary, and she walked away. That stuck with me. It was the first time I realized that words aren't just sounds, they're like little arrows we shoot out into the world, and they can hit their target whether we mean them to or not. So today, we're going to unpack that. We'll look at how words shape our thoughts, influence others, and even change the course of history. We'll talk science, stories, and practical tips you can use to harness this power in your own life. Ready? Let's go. First, let's get nerdy for a minute because the science behind words is fascinating. Did you know that the words you use don't just affect the people around you, they actually change your brain? There's this thing called neuroplasticity, which is basically your brain's ability to rewire itself based on what you experience. And guess what? Language is a huge part of that. Researchers have found that when you hear or say positive words, like love, peace, or hope, your brain releases feel-good chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. It's like a little happiness boost. But on the flip side, negative words, like hate, failure, or stupid, can trigger stress hormones like cortisol, which make you feel anxious or on edge. So, in a very real way, the words you choose are programming your mind. There's this study I came across, done by a psychologist named Andrew Newberg. He teamed up with a guy named Mark Robert Waldman, and they wrote a book called Words Can Change Your Brain. They found that just holding a single negative word in your mind for a few seconds can disrupt the balance in your brain's emotional centers. But when you focus on a positive word, it strengthens the areas tied to reasoning and awareness. That's insane, right? One word can shift how you think and feel. So, imagine what happens when you string those words together, into sentences, conversations, or even the stories you tell yourself every day. That's where the real magic, or chaos, happens. Okay, let's take this a step further. Words don't just mess with our brains, they literally shape the way we see the world. There's this theory in linguistics called the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. Don't worry, I won't bore you with the details, but basically, it says that the language you speak influences how you think. For example, some languages have tons of words for snow, And people who speak those languages can actually see snow differently, they notice details we might miss. But you don't need to speak a different language to feel this. Think about the words you use every day to describe your life. If you're constantly saying, "I'm so stressed, everything's a mess," or "I can't do this," your brain starts to believe that's your reality. It's like you're building a house with the words you choose, and then you have to live in it. I'll give you a personal example. A couple of years ago, I went through a rough patch. Work was piling up, I wasn't sleeping well, and I kept telling myself, "I'm failing at everything." And you know what? That's exactly how I felt, like a total failure. But then I started catching myself. I switched it up and started saying, "I'm figuring this out," or "I'm growing through this." It wasn't instant, but over time, my whole mindset shifted. The situation didn't change right away, but the way I saw it did. That's the power of words at work. And it's not just about self-talk. The words you use with others build their reality too. Call someone lazy enough times, and they might start to believe it. Tell someone they're amazing, and they might just rise to the occasion. Words are like seeds, once you plant them, they grow. Now, let's zoom out a bit and look at how words have shaped history. Because if you think your little everyday conversations don't matter, wait until you hear this. Take Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech. August 28, 1963, in Washington, D.C. Over 250,000 people gathered, and he steps up to the mic with nothing but words, no weapons, no money, just a microphone and a vision. He says, "I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal." Those words didn't just inspire people, they sparked a movement. They shifted culture. They're still echoing today. Or think about Winston Churchill during World War II. Britain was getting hammered, morale was low, and he gets on the radio and says, "We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets, we shall never surrender." Those weren't just words, they were a lifeline. They gave people hope when everything looked hopeless. But it's not always positive. Words can destroy too. Think about propaganda, like how Hitler used speeches and slogans to manipulate millions. He twisted language into a weapon, and the results were devastating. That's the flip side of this power, it's neutral. It's up to us how we wield it. History shows us that words aren't small. They're not trivial. They're the tools we use to build, or break, the world. Alright, let's bring it closer to home now, relationships. Because if there's anywhere words really flex their muscle, it's with the people we love. Think about the last time someone said something that hurt you. Maybe it was a friend who snapped at you, or a partner who said something careless. It stings, doesn't it? Sometimes those words stick with us longer than the good ones. I've had moments where a single comment, like "you're not good enough," played on repeat in my head for weeks. And I bet you've been there too. But here's the beautiful thing, words can also heal. A simple "I'm sorry, I believe in you," or "I love you," can mend what's broken. I remember when I was doubting myself big time, and my best friend just sat me down and said, "You've got this. I've seen what you're capable of." Those words were like a lifeline, they pulled me out of that funk. There's this concept in psychology called the emotional bank account. It's from a guy named Stephen Covey. He wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He says every interaction with someone is either a deposit or a withdrawal. Kind words, encouragement, listening, that's a deposit. Criticism, sarcasm, yelling, that's a withdrawal. And if you're always withdrawing, eventually the account's empty, and the relationship suffers. So, here's a challenge for you: think about the people in your life. Are you making more deposits or withdrawals with your words? Because trust me, they're keeping score, even if they don't realize it. Now, I want to touch on something that's really close to my heart: the spiritual side of words. If you're not into faith, that's cool, just hang with me for a sec, because this is powerful either way. In the Bible, there's this verse in Proverbs 18 verse 21 that says, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." That's heavy. It's saying that what comes out of your mouth isn't just noise, it's life or death. And if you think about it, that makes sense. Words can breathe life into someone's dreams or crush them completely. And it goes deeper. In the book of Genesis, God speaks the world into existence. Let there be light, and boom, there's light. If you believe we're made in God's image, then our words have a creative power too. Not on that cosmic level, obviously, but in our own little universes, our homes, our communities, our lives. I've seen this play out in prayer. When I'm feeling lost, speaking words of gratitude or hope out loud, like, "Thank you for guiding me," it shifts something in me. It's like I'm aligning myself with something bigger. Have you ever tried that? Speaking something into being, even just for yourself? Whether you're spiritual or not, there's something sacred about words. They're how we connect, how we create, how we leave a mark. Alright, we've covered a lot: science, history, relationships, spirituality. But let's get practical. How do we actually use this power in our everyday lives? I've got 5 tips for you, and I promise they're doable. Tip 1: pause before you speak. This one's huge. Next time you're about to say something, especially if you're mad or upset, just take a beat. Ask yourself, is this true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? It's not about censoring yourself, it's about being intentional. Tip 2: reframe your self-talk. Catch those negative loops, like, "I'm such an idiot," and flip them. Try, "I'm learning," or, "I'll get better at this." It feels weird at first, but it works. Tip 3: use words to build others up. Make it a goal to say one encouraging thing to someone every day. It could be as simple as, "You're doing great," or, "I appreciate you." Watch how it lights them up. Tip 4: write it down. There's something powerful about seeing your words on paper. Journal your goals, your gratitude, your dreams. It makes them real. Tip 5: apologize when you mess up. We all say dumb stuff sometimes. Own it. A sincere, "I'm sorry," can repair more than you think. Try these out this week and let me know how it goes in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. So, here's the big takeaway: words are a superpower. They can tear down or build up, wound or heal, curse or bless. And the crazy thing is, we get to choose. Every day, every conversation, every thought, it's up to us. I hope this video inspires you to think about the words you're putting out there. Because trust me, they're doing more than you realize. Let's make them count. Before we go, let's close with a prayer, just like we started. Dear God, thank you for the gift of words and the chance to use them wisely. Help us to speak with love, to listen with patience, and to build a world that reflects your goodness. Guide our tongues and our hearts, today and always. Amen. Thanks for hanging out with me today, fam. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and let me know in the comments, what's one word that's had a big impact on your life? I'll see you in the next one. Take care.